Hey guys, Remako here. Just gonna bring you another deck tech. Today is Delver, but you'll see what I mean. It's a little bit different than the current Delver decks that you've seen. It doesn't play Lingering Souls or Drog Skull Captain or anything like that, but we'll get right into it. So starting off with the land base first, there are 10 islands, 1 plains, 3 moorland haunts, 4 seachrome coasts, and 4 glacial fortress. So it adds up to 22 or 21 lands, I believe. For instance, we have 3 Gutshot, 1 Mutagenic Growth, 4 Vapor Snags, 4 Mana Leaks, 4 Thought Scours, and for sorceries we have 4 Ponders. For artifacts we have 1 Sword of Feast and Famine, 1 Sword of War and Peace, and 2 Runechanter's Pikes. And for creatures, we have 4 Delver, 3 Invisible Stalkers, 3 Geist of St. Drafts, and 4 Snapcaster Mage. Now the point of this deck is to get your Delver or your Snapcaster Mage, or any one of your creatures actually, equipped to one of these swords, and in doing so, you either raise their power level by having more instants or sorceries in your graveyard, or you can just equip the Sword of Feast and Famine or Sword of Body and Mind and pretty much swing for game. Now, if these creatures get swinging, within 2 turns, it's usually game. So you're aiming for a game, or aiming for a game by turn 5, or turn 4 or turn 5. With this being said, the utilities within this deck are essentially based around Snapcaster Mage and Moorland Haunt. So you have very few creatures comparatively to aggressive decks, but this deck is aggressive on its own while trying to maintain some sort of control with Mana Leak, Vapor Snag, and the Gutshots and the Mutagenic Growth. So if your creatures die, you're essentially trying to get back a Spirit Token, equip one of these swords, and just keep on going. So with that being said, it is a very standard and straightforward deck, and I'm not going to show the side deck because it really is independent depending on the meta that you're playing in, or the group of people that you're playing with and what they're playing and whatnot. But otherwise, all of these cards here add value right on their own. So Snapcaster Mage, when it comes in, obviously you get to flash back a card. It also has Flash. Geist of St. Draft is probably the best 3-drop in the format right now, contesting it with Drog Skull Captain. But since it has Hexproof, right when it comes out, it's amazing. Invisible Stalker in this deck is amazing. If you attach a sword to it, or a Runechanter's Pike, it's almost game over. If there's enough sorceries in your graveyard, or if your opponent starts taking damage, or doesn't destroy the sword. Now Delver is an easy 1-drop, and that's pretty much why it's there. And most of the time, since you have so many sorceries and instants in your deck, you're going to be able to flip it right away. So with that being said, that is today's deck tech. Please leave me any questions, comments, or anything else that you'd like to see or hear about, or if you want to know more about this deck, or why I chose specific cards rather than 4 Runechanter's Pikes versus 1 Sword of War and Peace or Sword of Feast and Famine, please let me know. But essentially, it's all meta dependent. There's a lot of white weenie decks, and to get protection from white, you'd want Sword of War and Peace. And for the zombie decks, you'd want Sword of Feast and Famine, as well as the ramp decks that you've been seeing lately as well. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate it. Please rate, comment, and subscribe, and tell your friends. And if you have any needs for trade, I do have a trade binder up as well. I'll be back with more of another deck tech with Red Deck Wins. Until then, take care.